In 1979, the period of détente, which had promised the end of the Cold War, was shattered by the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. This event shaped the relations between the superpowers in the 1980s. Today we're going to be looking at the causes, events and consequences of the invasion. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end for the key details you need to pass your exam. Hi there and welcome to the History Teacher. This revision video covers Superpower Relations and the Cold War, 1941 to 1991, from the GCSE Edexcel 9-1 course. Hopefully you'll also find it useful if you're studying any of the other exam boards, or if, like me, you just love history. Hi there guys, today we're looking at yet another gear change and moving into the Middle East this time. You will remember that during the 1970s there had been an attempt to broker peace in the Cold War during the period of détente, and that was ended by the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is located at the crossroads of Central Asia and South Asia. Because of this, it has been a region much fought over since the 19th century, especially because it was directly between British-controlled India and Russia. Afghanistan was bordered to the north by Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, all of which were in the Soviet Union until 1991. The USSR took an interest in the activities of the nations on its borders. In 1979, there was a revolution in Afghanistan in which the communist-supporting government was overthrown by a Muslim fundamentalist government. Brezhnev was worried that if Afghanistan were to remain a Muslim government, as had Iran, its neighbour to the west in 1978, this could spread to the nearby, predominantly Muslim regions of the USSR. It also suited the USSR to have a communist nation in the heart of Asia. Brezhnev was also worried that the government of Afghanistan would ally with the USA. The leader, Hafizullah Amin, was increasingly unstable in his role, as other pro-Islamic groups challenged his control. As a result, there were rumours that he had asked the USA for support, and Brezhnev could not allow a country of such great importance to ally with the Americans. So, on the 24th of December 1979, the USSR invaded Afghanistan with a force of over 100,000 troops. And the initial invasion was successful in establishing a pro-Soviet government in Afghanistan. The stated aim of the invasion was to support the government led by Amin. In reality, they assassinated him just 3 days later. So it's more likely that they aimed to take over the region. Indeed, the Soviet forces replaced him with the pro-Soviet Babrak Karmal immediately. The Mujahideen, which had the support of the United States, were able to launch a guerrilla war against the Soviet troops, which lasted for almost a decade. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan marked a new phase in the superpower relations, with the United States and the Soviet Union fighting a proxy war in the country. The United States provided the Mujahideen with military aid and training. The conflict also led to a further deterioration in relations between the United States and the Soviet Union, with both sides accusing the other of aggression and expansionism. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan was seen as a direct challenge to the United States and its allies, and the United States responded by increasing its military spending and support to anti-Soviet groups around the world. The invasion had some significant consequences in the region and in the world. The invasion was a turning point for the Cold War. It increased tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union after the period of détente. It led to a 10-year prolonged and brutal conflict that destabilized Afghanistan, resulting in the deaths of approximately 1.5 million civilians, and the government of Afghanistan was replaced with a pro-Soviet regime. For the USSR, it was a catastrophe. They suffered heavy losses in the conflict, with over 15,000 Soviet soldiers killed and tens of thousands more injured. It also cost them around $8 million a year, which they could barely afford, and committed them to a 10-year proxy war, with the USA supplying the Mujahideen. For US-Soviet relations, it meant the end of détente, with the abandoning of SALT II and the beginning of a second Cold War. Another key consequence I wanted to mention was the implementation of the Carter Doctrine by the United States. This policy stated that any attempt by a foreign power to gain control of the Persian Gulf region would be seen as a direct threat to American interests and would be met with a military response if necessary. The final consequence we need to cover is the United States boycott of the 1980 Moscow Olympics, with over 60 countries joining them. This was a significant political statement demonstrating the international disapproval of the Soviet Union's actions. In retaliation, the Soviet Union then boycotted the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics, along with 16 other Eastern Bloc countries. These boycotts not only affected the athletes who had trained for years to compete, but they also further strained the already tense relationships between the two superpowers. The Olympic boycotts served as a powerful symbol of the increased tension of the 1980s. Okay, that is everything you need to know about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. If you like this video, it'd be fantastic if you could leave me a like below and even a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more GCSE content and head over to my website for revision resources and worksheets. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.